Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of NHL 19 Franchise Mode here with the Florida Panthers. Today is a big episode as we are heading back to the playoffs for the second year in a row. We had a lot of problems throughout the regular season, and we were not able to stay consistent, listing other problems that we had endless amount of problems. We weren't able to keep the puck out of the net. We weren't able to play well defensively. Now, I did find a new tuner that I was experimenting on my own GM mode, which has been a lot of fun. And I figured out a way to get Barkov and Huberdeau at least a point per game, which is good. But in the end, it's not really that good. You have to turn off penalties up to 4. Offsides you have to turn off, and also icing you have to totally turn off, and you get the maximum amount of points you can get. Now, it's not really realistic as, not part of the sim, but it does get you more points. I don't like doing it during the playoffs because I've seen ridiculous results during the playoffs where guys get, I think, what was it? I had one series where a gate went 6 games, and the guy had almost 12, 14 points already in the playoffs. But we are going to make some huge changes to the team next year. A lot of big changes are going to come. Heppanainen is going to be one of the guys, but we're not going to be talking about the guys who we need to change, the guys who we need to trade out. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to be focusing on the current team right now and what we have ahead of us, and that is your Detroit Red Wings. So let's take a look at them statistically wise, and then we'll take a look at them at their lineups. So your top player, of course, Dylan Larkin, 30 goals. He was a beast. You also got to remember Anthony Mantha is another bomb of a player. So you have a great first line in Larkin, Mantha, and Zadino. Even if he's playing on the second line, he still has Dzingel and Franz Nielsen, which is a pretty solid line at that. Except for that, it kind of drops off, but you have a really good depth squad. If you take a look at this, right, you got your pretty good players. Riley Smith is solid. You got Franz Nielsen, who's been playing pretty well. Everyone else is pretty solid. But then you got the big toughness. Michael Rasmussen and Tyler Bertuzzi. You got Andrew Shaw. You got some pretty big guys that have that playoff experience, that have that experience of just going out there and hitting. They know what they need to do, which is good. Now let's head over to the defensive side where it's another kind of a struggle. Actually, not really. You have 4 top 4 players, which is not looking bad. You have a prospect of beast in Justin Blaine. You got Eric Gustafson, who's been a solid guy for your team, right? So, it's not a bad position for the Detroit Red Wings to be in defensively, and they got a spectacular goaltender in Corey Crawford. So we're looking at a team that is looking pretty good to us, right? We bolstered up that defensive core for this upcoming season because we knew we needed to do that. We knew that we needed to go and get a defenseman that can actually play solid minutes alongside of Aaron Ekblad, and I think we found that guy that could play really well defensively with Aaron Ekblad. Michael Matheson has played really solid with Keith Yandle, which is good to see. Now, big problem is Keith Yandle going to even stay at a top 4 as he has a 3-year contract left? We do have a lot of questions coming towards the Florida Panthers for this upcoming year, but we're going to focus on what we got in hand, and that is the big opponents in the Detroit Red Wings. Now, this is a huge series for us, as last year we lost against Boston Bruins. We have the possible chance of facing them in the second round, of course, if we do win this series, but we gotta get past this first. Our last 10 games were 7-1-2. We are red hot coming in the playoffs. You could take a look at that winning streak. We had a 4-game winning streak and 1 loss. That is pretty dominant in your last couple games, right? We only lost 2-1 to the Detroit Red Wings. So let's go in. Let's play solid hockey. We know what we need to do. Oh, yeah, I want to check out the lineups before we jump into the first game. We know what we need to do. We have that team that can do it. Let's take a look at the lineups quickly now, since I remembered to do that. So there's your Detroit Red Wings line. So Zadino is up on the first line. You got Michael Rasmussen there. Now, you're not going to see Franz Nielsen because the lineups are not fully potential-wise, but they got a pretty good depth core of everything. This team is looking not that bad. They got a good goaltender in Corey Crawford. So, this team is looking solid this year. We're going up against a pretty hefty opponent. A team that is also developing really well into the league. So, we just got to go out there, play the game that we know how to play, and just win games. That's what we got to do right now. So, first period, 1-1 Dzingel Scorvio starts off the game for the Florida Panthers. Come on, boys. Second period, 2-2. Zdeno, Jonas Donskoy, the depth is coming in big for us. We need to see that first line. We need to see something from Barkov, because honestly, this is his year where he needs to kind of prove us something. Either we keep him or we trade him is going to be a real big question for this upcoming year, because I don't want to be stuck with a guy that's not going to get us very much. And Michael Rasmussen gets a big goal for the Detroit Red Wings, and it looks like the Detroit Red Wings will be taking this series 1-0, and yes, they do. Dylan Luck with an empty netter. And the Detroit Red Wings take Game 1, 4-2 in home. That's a rough way to start the series here, boys. A real rough way. The depth. We got Donskoy and Scorvio going. We weren't able to get our main first lines going in Barkov and Huberdeau, which is a huge problem. We got to get those guys going. First period, 2-0. Scorvio and Owen Tippett. There we go. We got to see something from Barkov. Somebody. We got to see those guys step it up here. Second period, 3-0. Mike Hoffman gets a big goal for Florida. And third period, 3-0 win for the Florida Panthers. That is a huge victory for the team. That is something that we needed. We haven't seen anything from that first line yet. Hepanainen, Huberdeau, and Barkov. They have not scored a single goal yet. So let's go. Game 2. We're in Detroit, Hockey Town. This is going to be a really rough crowd to go up against. The Detroit Red Wings fans. They're happy that they're back in the playoffs. Their team's still looking rough, but they're happy that they are back. And man, they're dominating us in Scotch. And there we go. Scorvio and Barkov gets us 2 huge goals for the Florida Panthers. The third period, we're up 2-0. This is a huge way to start the first round here against the Detroit Red Wings. Oh, big goal there from Dylan Larkin makes it 1 right in front of the net, but Dennis Melgan, the depth for the Florida Panthers, gets a big one for us. That's what we need. 3-1 lead. We're playing good hockey. This is what I'm talking about, man. Even though they're out shooting us, we were able, Sergei Bobrovsky was able to back us up. Jonas Brodin gets a big one for the Florida Panthers, and we get the big W, 4-1. And that is what I'm talking about. That is a huge win for the team. Sebastian Rappo, yes, we'll replace him. So we're up 2-1 in the series. We have dominated them in the past 2 games. We only let them to score 1 goal. That is good. That's good to see. So let's go into Game 4. Let's have that same plan. Let's go in there, play that defensive game. Barkov gets another big goal. Second period. Owen Tippett gets another one, man. He is an absolute fire ripper for us right now. Third period. 3-1 is the Dzingel, and Keith Yandle also gets one for the Florida Panthers as we take. I forgot that accidentally. I always forget because when I do simulations, I usually just skip past the third period. But I gotta remember that I'm doing YouTube and I gotta watch the third period for you guys because it's always really intense. We're up 3-1 in the series. We're back at home in Florida. We gotta take this series home tonight. 2-0. Trotrek Aaron Ekblad, baby. Second period. We have the lead. 2-0. This is the way that we wanted to start the playoffs. A dominating way. We're not letting the Detroit Red Wings gain any momentum. We're shutting them down defensively. And this is what I'm talking about. We really built a defensive powerhouse. No doubt about that. We have defensive players all up the yin-yang. It is looking like a solid year. And we will be making it to the second round for the first time here in franchise mode. Year 3, we're making it to the second round. Now, the thing is, we won that series in 5. We knew that was going to happen. We're going to be facing the Boston Bruins. Oh, man, this will be fun. I am excited for this series. The Boston Bruins against the Florida Panthers. A rematch from last year where the Florida Panthers made a comeback, but the Boston Bruins just shoved it into our hearts. It was an intense series. It went back-to-back. It was so much action. And we had to face them once again here in the second round. So let's take a look at an overview of the team's first round and what can we improve on from the first round. And honestly, I don't think I really see anything. I mean, that depth was huge for us. We built that depth to have a good playoffs. And, I mean, they did. Coyle had a good run. You had Jonas Donskoy get a goal. I mean, that was solid work from the entire team. You've seen everyone producing. And that is what I really want to see from the team, is having everyone at least get a point. And everyone did. And everyone was a plus. So we had a good series against the Detroit Red Wings. But this is going to be a whole new type of new monster that we're going to be having to go up against the Boston Bruins, right? We're not going to get a very big sample size of what they can do because that's this playoff. But let's take a look at what they did in the regular season since it's only in the second round. They won their series also in 5 games. So let's take a look. I mean, they still got that the perfection line and Pasternak, Marchand, and Patrice Bergeron. So that's still going to be a deadly line that's going to be going up against Hepanen, Barkov, and Huberdeau. So that's huge. Heinen, DeBrusk, and Krejci got there as well. Depth, man. That's also another lethal head. I mean, take a look at this team. They didn't lose really anyone to injuries, and that's pretty impressive. Trent Frederick, they got the depth. And not just that, they got big players. 6 foot, 6'2", 6'2", 5'11", 6'2", 6'2", and all heavy hitters. Every single one of these players can hit. They're physical. We're going to be going up against a physical team. Defensively, you still got a solid defensive core there. Yeah, you don't got Zdeno Chara. You got Charlie McAvoy and Torrey Krug. You got TJ Brody, Nierhovac, and Ninen. You got a lot of good, solid defensemen here for the Boston Bruins. And once again, we're going to have to go up against the man, Tuukka Rask, in the first round. So we're really going up against a solid team against the Boston Bruins, man. It is going to be a rough second round for us. And we knew that was going to be the case in the first place. I mean, you could take a look at that perfection line. The depth, yeah, might be a little bit weakened. But, I mean, if you take a look at that first line, yeah, they're getting old, but, man, they're looking for that cup, man. They're really looking for that cup this year. Defensively, they're still solid. This team could kick us in the ass in multiple different directions. It's unbelievable what that team can do. I do want to check one thing. Just curious, just to burn some time before I end the video, because it's been a short little video. What do we got for all our prospects? Ramo Nenamaki, top 4. So we didn't get too much development. I thought he was a low elite or something, but no. Not very many prospects here in the core of the Florida Panthers. We definitely really need to keep that going. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We got a big series ahead of us against the Boston Bruins, so we're going to rest up, take some time to plan out what we got to do, go in, and kick some ass. But sorry guys for the video being so short as well. I mean, that's what happens when you kind of just go into the series and kick ass when you did against the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We ran in, we ripped apart their team. But now we got to go up against a really tough team in the Boston Bruins in the second round, so we'll have to see how good we do. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my links down in the description below, my Instagram and Twitter, as I post on there mostly every day and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.